So good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this session on certificate and integrated treasury management. Am I clearly audible to all of you?
Yes, you are clearly audible.
Thank you. So I welcome all of you. Thank you for joining in on a Sunday evening, and we promise you will try to keep it quick and short. We of course we have a hard stop at 6:30. So I and my faculty members would like to try to quickly get through with the session flow and the structure in the next 10-15 minutes, and then we'll have another 10-15 minutes for any kind of Q&A if the audience has it. So taking this forward, a quick introduction on AIWMI. We are now a 8-year-old, fairly large membership and education body for financial professionals in India. We've been offering various certification programs, conducting a lot of executive education programs. We do a lot of work on the advocacy level with government and regulators. We also host a number of industry events, study tours, award ceremonies, and national financial literacy initiatives. So the focus at AIWMI for the team here has all been on creating a 360-degree holistic ecosystem for professional development and continuing education for finance professionals. On the other hand, we've also been working very actively on the investor education bit, right from your retail investors to your large high net worth families and family businesses. So, talking about the certificate in integrated treasury management, this is a very, very important program. I believe in today's context, especially when the earnings of the companies are going haywire, the markets are behaving erratic, and we don't really, there's a lot of uncertainty, going forward. So Treasury plays a very important role for any corporate or financial institutions in planning, organizing, and controlling the funds and liquidity or working capital requirement of that company. And we think this is a program like this cannot be more timely. As some of you would be aware, AIWMI started a Skill Up Scholarship campaign once the lockdown started, and the objective of this campaign was to help various professionals and students in pursuing some good, quick skill building programs from the comfort of their home and be job ready or be ready for any kind of a job market. Once we start getting back to normal. So on this simple thought, the Skill Up Scholarship campaign was conceived, and it's been last 4 months now that we've been running various programs. We've already done some part of the CTM batch earlier. We are restarting this batch now from next Saturday with 3 very prominent faculty members, and I will go on to introduce them to you as well. But before that, a quick bit on the scholarship campaign is how it works is very simple. We have waived off the entire registration fee of the program, and we put the tutorials and the exam online for you, wherein you can not only pursue the tutorials or follow the tutorials from home, but also appear for the exam from home on our platform. So exams are being conducted on the last Sunday of every month for all our programs, and students who register for a particular program can appear for the exam anytime as per their convenience. So I'll talk more about the scholarship or the programs or some other structures of AIWMI later. Right now, it's time for me to quickly move on to our faculty members, and I would like to introduce them to you here. So our 3 faculty members who are going to conduct this program for us is one, Mr. Himanshu Arora, Mr. D.D. Srivastava, and Mr. Ramakar Jha. So Himanshu, I will quickly move on to you and you along with the others, you can take us through the flow of the program and the topics and why you have designed it this way. And then we can together take the questions from audience, if any. So here is what the tutorial calendar and structure looks like. So Himanshu, can I request you to take this over?
Sure.
Yeah.
So in this entire module, we actually plan to discuss, 360-degree about the treasury services. So the treasury management, how it works in corporate, and the cash and liquidity management. So things start with working on the corporate side also. So we cover, for example, the capital structure, the corporate finance, and all these things that are the key ideas of knowing about the treasury operations. So one is how the corporate works, how do they manage their money. So treasury is all about managing money. There can be two kind of processes there, the active one and the passive one, the active treasury and the passive treasury. So we'll be covering both aspects of it during the session. So first we'll try to understand from the corporate side about the importance of the working capital, cash, liquidity, how to manage it. Uh, the decision based on managing money that we call corporate finance and all these things. And apart from this, in the active management side, we'll then learn, while going through this entire module, we'll understand how they manage their risk. So in managing their risk, it is important for us to understand how the financial markets operate. And then we will be covering about different aspects of financial markets, where we'll talking about, of course, we'll start with the basics of the financial market. Why does a corporate need the existence of the financial market? And then we'll study various products about this. Like, for example, we talk about the bonds and the fixed income securities, how to manage their portfolio, how to manage their risk, and what all fixed income securities are good for them and may not be good for them. Then there are certain companies that are dependent on commodities. They may be either commodity producers or they may be commodity consumers. So sessions are also on that aspect of the commodity market. Then currency market is also an important part, because some of the companies may be importers, maybe exporters. So how they are going to manage their risk on the import or the export side. So learning some basic intricacies about the foreign exchange management. Then because treasury has to basically hedge the risk, so talking about hedging makes a lot more sense here. And what are the products that are available for us to hedging, so that pushed us to discuss one more topic here, that is derivatives, and how derivatives market actually work. Not the equity derivative market that is basically used for the speculative purposes, but more or less, more of commodity and the currency and the bond derivative market, more precisely commodity and the currency derivatives market. How do they work, and how can someone hedge their risk? So how can someone hedge their risk in the forward market or in the futures market? What are the drawbacks of using forward market? What are the benefits or drawbacks of using futures market? And all these intricacies, nitty-gritties about the derivatives market there. Then another aspect that we feel important in studying about the treasury management is, because managing risk, it is not always important, or it is not always necessary to manage the risk. Sometimes it is good to leave the risk as it is. So we need to understand the economy analysis, interpreting the global economic scenario, that how the global financial markets are currently operating. So if the prices of some commodity or the currency is already going to go down and that is good for us, then should we be hedging at that point in time or not? So that those nitty-gritties we'll be discussing. Also, to get the brief idea about the market, not just the economic analysis or the fundamental analysis, we have also touched upon a topic. We also plan to touch upon a topic called technical analysis there, especially for the foreign exchange market, because, and that is not for intraday kind of thing, that is for a positional kind of thing, that getting a view from the market about the using the technicals, what they are predicting for the market. Then treasury, risk management, operations, control, and then we'll move on the focus to the banking treasury, and how to manage the risk for the banks, and the accounting and the auditing and the regulatory part of the bank. So some of the sessions will be taken by me, and some of the sessions will be taken by other faculties who have also joined us. So, so broadly speaking, we have divided this into three parts. One is talking about the treasury operations and corporate finance kind of thing, then moving towards the financial markets, and then finally moving towards the treasury operations for the banks. So basically we are doing it for corporates as well as banks. And apart from that, we are covering two angles: active management and passive management. So broadly speaking, this is the idea. This has been the idea about building up this entire module. And Mr. Srivastava and Mr. Ramakar are also with us if they want to say something. Mr. Srivastava, would you like to add something there?
No, Mr. Himanshu, actually you have covered everything in a crux, in a very brief style. You have explained what we are going to cover it. And you know, when we talk of bank treasury management, then we will be also covering front office, mid office, and back office operations also. Then regarding my area is regulatory guidelines and auditing. So we will be covering what are the regulatory guidelines that are operating in our environment. Basically, we are governed by Reserve Bank of India guidelines. So there's a codified instructions from Reserve Bank of India that we will be discussing in detail. Then foreign exchange dealings with a special reference, because I was in SBI, to with a special reference to SBI, how our treasury operations are done and how these foreign exchange dealings are done. The rest, it has already been covered by Mr. Himanshu in a nutshell.
Sure. Ramakar, you have something to say?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Basically, when we talk about treasury, the idea is that to learn skills wherein you can take positions with others' money. Okay, so idea is to understand what the situation is and maybe not speculate, then to probably manage funds which could be otherwise kept idle. So when we're talking, my interaction with the participants would be predominantly on areas of how a corporate should be mobilizing resource, which um, otherwise would be otherwise kept idle for the sake of doing a trade-off between liquidity and profitability. So when you talk about capital structure decision, where the fund should be raised from, what type of fund should be raised, where the fund should be put to use, okay, and the nature of that mobilization of money with different product and different uh, concepts and risk culture is what uh, predominantly we say within the corporate should be. So treasury management within the corporate is predominantly utilizing of resources to the best possible way. Okay, whether it's an idle resource to be deployed or whether it's a resource which is need to be mobilized. So we're talking about working capital, talking about cash requirement, or how do you manage your liquidity, because there's always a trade-off. When you tend to keep more cash in hand than you are not having, although any type of liability mobilized in the form of capital does show one of the type of assets on your book, if nothing is showing in the form of a cash on your book, but cash is a non-productive type of asset. So how do I use that? Lot of money, a lot of corporate would also take up activities of hedging with some exposures that they have in the market, or they would be parking funds for some basic requirements at some stage, or again taking some decision in cross holding. So the idea is to decide that we say in corporate finance a simple saying that no business is risky. It becomes risky because of bad decisions taken by manager. So the idea is to understand what is good for a business, and there cannot be two ways to identifying what is good or bad. The only thing which is good for any business is where it enhances the value of the business, because as a business you are incorporated as a going concern, and you could only remain a going concern, you can keep on surviving only if you are able to grow. Okay, so survival growth is must, and growth can only happen if you add value. Okay, and in our field we say adding value in the form of adding resources, okay, adding assets which a business can use for future operation. So the idea here is to see that whatever money which is mobilized by business uh, can be deployed to a better productive use. So how to understand which decision is good, bad on the basis of where the value of the firm gets enhanced is where the entire crux of treasury management goes into when we talk about corporate finance. But for doing that, you need different products which is used. Okay, so financial market domain regarding fixed income, equities, and managing different investments. Uh, Actively been used in banking, because as Shrivastava was saying, uh, banking is a business where you're using someone else's deposit to do your business. So when I'm using someone else's money, then I should not be speculating on that. Okay, it's more on deploying it on the basis of what you're able to make as a decision. So this crux that we're trying to understand in this course is to make you comfortable with those concepts, that how a decision should be made and arrived at, and to be absolutely sure that which decision is right. Okay, and though it cannot be two ways, as I said, the only way I could assign that the decision taken by the manager or the person who is managing the treasury, the decision taken by them is the most appropriate one. We can only understand it on the basis of whether the decision has been able to enhance the value of the firm or not. Okay, so when we're talking about these sessions, treasury management in corporates, working capital, cash liquidity, or capital structure decisions regarding corporate finance is what you would be interacting with me with some bit about risk management and all, and you'll have our other colleagues to take care of other domains. But the whole crux that we are trying to understand is to make a participant comfortable with arriving at decision, and to be absolutely sure what is right and what is the right decision to be taken with any given perspective. So we'll be evolving with a lot of application oriented cases, some scenarios that are prevailing in the market, different types of businesses that is prevailing, and all corporates would be wanting to see the best use of resource that they have at their disposal. And we simply say that although we in accounting we say that assets are a resource that is owned by a business, but it's more important the resource should be even utilized well. Okay, so that's where the entire activity of treasury management in corporate, that part is what we are trying to focus on. Okay, hope I've made myself clear with what we're talking of corporate finance angle.
Yes, Ramakar, you have. Thank you so much. So I will quickly take the audience through the tutorial structure, and this is how it looks like. We're going to have all in all 14 sessions. As of now, we have planned these sessions on Saturdays from 4 to 6 p.m. And this is how it looks like, the first 5. Then we move on to the next. And finally, to the last 4. So as of now, the sessions are scheduled on Saturdays, but going forward, if candidates are okay and if the faculty is able to take, put in some more time, maybe we don't mind making it like a twice a week kind of a class. We'll be able to take a call on this only in September once we see how the class is progressing. And if we can that is purely to basically crunch down it for people who want to appear for the exams early. But having said that, these are 14 sessions that we're going to do, and as of today the schedule looks like this. So we're starting from 8th of August, and our final session will be conducted on the 7th of November. Now, taking you to quickly the registration process for this. The registration forms are all online on our website. You can just go to the page for this program under the certifications tab, and you just click the button register now. To avail the scholarship, you need to use the scholarship code during your online registration. Once registered, you can appear for the exams anytime during the next 5 years. We've kept this completely flexible. Of course, you're not going to need 5 years, but this is just for meant to put you at ease so that people do not hurry into taking exams. We want them to spend enough time in studying the subjects before they start appearing for the exam. Exams are conducted on our own platform on the last Sunday of every month, and you can appear for the same even from home if you have a good internet connection and a functional camera on your PC. You can also appear for the exam from your mobile phone. So there's no way, I'm sure everyone has today a smartphone, and so giving the exam should not be a problem. There are of course some do's and don'ts when it comes to appearing for proctored exams from home. We'll share those instructions with you when you are planning for your exam. So for now, this is it. Now we have another 10 to 15 minutes to take any questions from the audience. So audience, if you have any questions, please shoot now. So books, Jay Prakash is asking any specific book we need to refer. So I believe we have mentioned a few books on our website on the CTM page. Faculty will of course be from time to time, suggesting you some reference books or some content or portals or publications which could be of use for you going forward in this line. So don't worry about that. I believe the tutorials have been designed in a way that we are going to practically cover almost everything that is there for you to know, and make it very, very hands-on and very technical and yet interesting. Guys, any other questions? So till you're getting any questions, Ramakar, Himanshu, or Mr. Shrivastava, do you have any additional points you'd like to add for our audience?
Yeah, I would like to add here that I mean, all the topics that we are going to cover here will be more or less practical oriented. I mean, whatever is happening in the market, as Ramakar has already mentioned this, that we'll prefer taking practical examples. So it is less about studying from a book; it's more about practicing in the real life. So like foreign exchange and the banks and the regulations and say derivatives or whatever topic we are going to talk about, corporate finance, all the things that we are going to discuss will be, the approach will be practice oriented. I mean, the reality oriented and not the theoretical one.
Yeah, the basic reference books are basically to just guide and have a follow-up, but you will be guided through the sessions with some reference material which would be in tune with what is in practice. Plus, also so a lot of case would be built in. A lot of applications would be built in from real data, downloading it from sources, working with references, taking case studies, which is happening in the given scenarios. So, although it's a very to the point, if you see the entire sessions is a build-up of 4-5 broader content together. So not one book would address it, but yeah, you have some reference book that has been mentioned. But as and when we three of us would be handling and we'll be going through our
Keep on
session,
sharing the stuff as and when the time comes.
we'll be sharing and we'll be giving you certain reference materials which would be handy. Plus whatever that we do in the session with some application modules.
Yes, as Mr. Himanshu and Mr. Ramakar has already said, our emphasis will be more on practical experience, because theoretical experience you can read on anywhere. But as I said earlier, we will be taking some real life case studies, maybe taken from a particular bank regarding regulatory aspects or even market risk management, what are the risks involved in treasury or in foreign exchange dealing. And that we can share and discuss with the participants.
And Unni has a question: is prior experience in treasury required for this course? I don't think you need to have any prior experience in treasury or working in treasury, because everything will be starting here. We're starting with the basics itself. So no experience as such required unless until Aditya has something to add here. Aditya, would you like to say something?
Not at all.
I don't think. I think we'll be starting from absolute basics there.
Absolutely.
And then build up everything.
Idea is to build up the skill, treasury skill, in freshers as well, or people who are not been into treasury but would want to get into treasury, even if they're working professionals. So
yes,
we're going to start from basic, and our approach always has been, the one part is the tutorials, the two is the other guest sessions or other value added sessions that we keep organizing overall. That should help you. So if you're learning treasury here, there are a number of sessions we're doing on different asset classes or investment avenues right now for other courses. Some of those could be very, very interesting for a treasury management professional. So things like this could be overall, I mean, idea is to give you a holistic understanding. And even if you're a fresher, to build you up into a smart, ready to work treasury professional over the next 2-3 months. And I believe the course will and the tutorial will help, is thoroughly planned to do this for all of you. So I don't see any other questions, guys. If you have any questions, ask quickly. Otherwise, we can then just quickly wind up this session, and we look forward to see you all then on Saturday. So I think faculty members, I think it's we can wind up the session. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you everyone for joining in. The session is starting on Saturday, August 8th from 4 p.m. onwards. The schedule is already out. We are going to put up this video also shortly on our channel. If you have any queries, reach out to us on our numbers and email IDs, which are all clearly given on our website. And we look forward to catch up with all of you next Saturday. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you.